Hi, everybody. We're just gonna give it a couple minutes, let people just get on in. We're at the tail end of diving into Revelation. We're on part 6, and then we only have 2 more, and then we have done a Bible study on the entire book of Revelation. So super, super exciting stuff. Like I said, I used to be afraid of this book, so it's kind of crazy that we've evolved now to embracing it and understanding it. So just a couple minutes, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Okay. All right. Again, we're just going to wait a couple of minutes until everyone kind of trickles in, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, we're going to give it one more minute, and then we'll be ready to go. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. It's a minute after. So, part 6 of Revelation and kind of what we've been experiencing, kind of the door behind me. On Facebook, you can't see, but on YouTube, you can just see it. It's like, so part 6, up until this point, we've learned a lot about kind of where this stems from, what this book is really providing us. And like I said, the last couple of weeks, it's this test answers to the test. It's given you everything leading up to Jesus finally winning that battle, right? The end time battle. So Revelation 17 and 18, the final world empire revealed and destroyed. So kind of our topic this week, I'm sorry, I didn't even read the title, is Babylon the Great, the system, the seduction, and the fall. I learned a lot in these 2 chapters, 17 and 18, because I never looked at it with the perspective that Babylon is like the spirit. So, not the Holy Spirit, like the bad spirit. I never thought about it that way. So, when we dive into this, I want to read chapter 17. It's short, but I want to read chapter 17 because wow. Like I said, I never would have taken it this perspective. So, the beast rules by power, the false prophet rules by religion, Babylon rules by seduction. If the beast represents control, Babylon represents desire. She doesn't conquer nations with force, she conquers them with luxury, lust, and wealth. So, tidbit, because I get really excited about this. This is like kind of happening right now. And the most prominent thing that I feel like I'm seeing in regards to this lesson is the Epstein files, right? I mean, very hot topic, very into culture right now, whether you are into politics or not, because there's so many people, singers, artists, um, celebrities, politicians, all these people that are so wealthy are involved with this man. And so now what Epstein was doing and stuff, there's tons of conspiracy theories about it, and I'm not going to get into that because this is church, right? But it's just very interesting that we're kind of seeing the foundation for what Revelation is showing us. We're kind of seeing that built in our lifetime. And it's startling, but it's also kind of exciting because we know, again, we are chosen to know the end. So Babylon is not just a city. Babylon is not just a government. Babylon is not just an economy. Babylon is a global, spiritual, political, and economic empire intoxicated with power, wealth, and immorality. We are watching it rise right now. So, with AI, like I said, Epstein, and then society changing. So, my grandma had moved in with us, and she was born in 1938. So you think about from 1938 to now and how much society has changed and how much people have changed. We talk about this all the time. Society has become selfish. People want to know how they look. They want people to like their pictures. They want people to know what they're doing and so involved in it, their everyday life, that society has changed to a selfish society. And that's what Babylon rules based on comfort and exciting, you know? So let's go ahead and read chapter 17 of Revelation. That's in the back. My mom used to do this all the time. So at church, when we'd have like just part of it, it's in the back of the Bible. She'd tell people where it is, or like page numbers because people don't open up their Bibles. So that was the little shtick. So Babylon and her destiny. Then one of the seven angels who had the seven bowls came and spoke with me. Come, I will show you the judgment of the notorious prostitute who is seated on many waters. The kings of earth committed sexual immorality with her, and those who live on the earth became drunk on the wine of her sexual immorality. Then he carried me away in the spirit to the wilderness. I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was covered with blasphemous names and had 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was dressed in purple and scarlet, adorned with her gold, jewels, and pearls. She had a golden cup in her hand filled with everything detestable and with the impurities of her prostitution. On her forehead was a written name of mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes and the detestable things of earth. Then I saw that woman was drunk with the blood of the saints and the blood of the witnesses to Jesus. When I saw her, I was greatly astonished. Then the angel said to me, Why are you astonished? I will explain to you the mystery of the woman and the beast with the 7 heads and the 10 horns that carries her. The beast that you saw was and is not and is about to come up from the abyss and go to destruction. Those who live on the earth, whose names have not been written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, will be astonished when they see the beast that was and is not and is to come. This calls for a mind that has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman is seated. There are also 7 kings. 5 had fallen, 1 is, the other one has not yet come, and when he comes, he must remain for a little while. The beast that was and is not is itself an 8th king, but it belongs to the 7 and is going to destruction. The 10 horns you saw are 10 kings who have not yet received a kingdom, but they will receive authority as kings with the beast for 1 hour. These have one purpose, and they give their power and authority to the beast. These will make war against the Lamb, but the Lamb will conquer them, because he is the Lord of lords and the King of kings. Those with him are called chosen and faithful. He also said to me, The waters you saw where the prostitutes were seated are peoples, multitudes, nations, and languages. The 10 horns you saw in the beast will hate the prostitute. They will make her desolate and naked, devour her flesh, and burn her up with the fire. For God has put into their hearts to carry out his plan by having one purpose and to give them their kingdom to the beast until the words of God are fulfilled. And the woman you saw is the great city that has royal power over the kings of the earth. Wow. Again, I would have never, because you think about the Bible and you have to think about the time it was written. So just when you start seeing that, but when you break that down into this study, I was very, 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 very astonished. Babylon begins with Nimrod and the Tower of Babel. That's in Genesis 11. Nimrod, the first Antichrist prototype. Babel, first attempt at a global empire without God. Their goal, let's make a name for themselves. Genesis 11:4. Babylon is the religion of self. So again, like I had just mentioned, we're kind of seeing this start happening, right? Through the more generations and the more generations, we're really, really starting to see that. Religion of self. How can okay, just to give everyone an example, all you have to do is just go on TikTok Live. It's literally people trying to get money for sitting on live and just sitting there. Just go through TikTok Live. Human achievement without divine authority. From Babel to Babylon to Persia to Greece to Rome, and then the final empire. Every world empire has a Babylon rebuilding itself. Revelation 17 and 18 is the last tower and the last fall. Revelation 17, the woman riding the beast. So what we were just reading. The beast rules by authority, but Babylon rides him. She influences him, steers him, benefits from him. She holds nations, she holds kings, she holds merchants, she holds religions, she holds culture, she holds mortality, economy, and desire. The world drinks her wine and becomes intoxicated. You get so caught up in everything going on in society. And again, with my grandma living with us, she's a great example of this. We're all like sitting in the living room, like on our phones. I'm playing a game. My husband's watching videos about how to do something in construction. The kids are on their iPads. They're playing games. And she's sitting there in the living room just watching all of us. Society has changed. It's become intoxicated with everything that's comfortable and feels good in the moment, not long term. Babylon doesn't force, she entices. This is how Satan deceives the end time world. This is super important because, again, when I was reading this, I would have never even thought about it this way. This is how Satan deceives the end time world through pleasure, not persecution. Through pleasure, because what's comfortable, what's easy. That's how he's going to get to us. The threefold power of Babel. Time out. I just had like a whole thing. He has to, Satan, in Satan's perspective, okay, I was cast out of heaven and I was stripped away from what I wanted, blah, 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 blah. So now I have hell. Well, now I want to show him that I'm going to win the battle, right? That's what Satan's perspective is. So he's going to do it in a very sly and cunning way, exactly what he did to Eve. Religious Babylon, spiritual mixture. Faith that welcomes every belief except holiness. Unity without truth, worship without repentance, love without obedience. This is already here. This is happening. Look at every single mega church. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. Interfaith movement, universal religion, coexist without Christ. That's happening right now, literally right now. In the Bible, they say the synagogue of Satan, right? Because everything gets so warped and changed that what's actually given to us, and I kind of say this too, the farther we get away from Christ, the time that Christ was here on earth, the harder it is, right? Because it's like the story of it's like telephone, right? the farther and farther you get away from the original person, the story is going to change. So this Bible, I mean, we've already known it's been changed hundreds of times and translated in different ways because through history and so on and so forth. So the farther we get away from him in regards to his time here on earth, it's going to be harder for us. And that's why Satan can just slide on in there and say, okay, well, I'm going to take them. They're mine. But we are not, because we know the end. We have the answers to the test. Economic Babylon, global commerce and trade. Wow. This sounds like it's happening right now. I just bought an outfit on Shein that comes from China. So that's global trade for me. The merchants weep when she falls. Revelation 18:11. Why? Because Babylon is the economic heart of the world. Luxury, excess, materialism, consumer identity. Look, you have me sitting here teaching Bible study talking about how I ordered something on Shein, right? So Babylon is the economic heart of the world. Luxury, excess, materialism, consumer identity. Again, I'm going to go back to my grandmother, born in 1938. She hates the way that we spend our money as a family, things we spend our money on. She's like, I would have never spent my money on those things. She spends her money differently. It's because society has changed so much, and the internet and social media make it so you want to buy things that other people have. Oh, look at this new pressure cooker, blah, 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 blah. Even though you have a pressure cooker, that video is like, wow, she's like really making that good food with that pressure cooker. Oh, I got my lash man. So society and change has happened thanks to technology and just everything in society, that we are being pulled away and pulling closer and closer to Babylon. We live in a generation where nations depend on global trade. Absolutely. Like I said, where does all of our clothes in America come from? And at this point, where does all the meat come from? Because I can tell you right now, there is not enough cows in America to feed Americans. Start thinking about that, by the way. Corporations hold more power than governments. BlackRock. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Wealth seduces more than persecution ever could. Money moves people more than truth. I'm going to say this, OnlyFans. OnlyFans is a great example of this. Hey, I'm going to post pictures of myself on the internet and I'm going to make tons of money. But it's okay because I have to make money to feed my family. No, 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 no. Everyone needs to stick to their moral compass. The Bible is a great interpretation of a how to live. Make sure that make sure people are reading it. It's very, very important. Babylon speaks through commerce. Here's a political Babylon, global governance. Many nations, one system. World summits, climate accords, digital ID systems, global banking. The infrastructure of Revelation is not the future. It's being built in real time. Like I said, we're seeing this. So, world summits, they're NATO, like the whole thing. There is an elite group of people, and reading the Epstein files, you guys will see this. There is an elite group of people that are running the world, whether you want to believe that or not. That is happening right now. It's just not so obvious, right? But it's happening. Climate accords, yes. So, fun fact, there was a group, and I'm not going to say it because I don't exactly remember, but there is a group that agreed to cloud seeding and chemtrails around the world, and all these countries agreed to it. Now, there is states in America that are stopping that, but my point in all this is that's climate accords. That's, hey, we're going to moderate to help these areas that are in severe drought, blah 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 blah. Digital ID systems, that's happening right now. Facial ID on my phone. I'm going to unlock my phone. It unlocks with my face. Digital ID. Now it's somewhere in a cloud. Global banking, crypto is a prime example of this. It's being built in real time. Babylon is the glue that unites the beast system. because that's how, not by force, but by seduction. It's seducing us to things that are so cool and so great. And oh, wow, you can be rich and famous if you do this, and you can live this life, and you can travel the world if you do this. No, no. And I mean, I mentioned OnlyFans, but porn and sex is way easier to access now than it has ever been. Has ever been, minus the time that Facebook was hacked and it was all over Facebook. But it is more easy to access now. And how do you get people to change their ways? By seduction. The easiest way is doing that is giving them pleasure where in those kinds of ways. Seduce that again. Genesis, Adam and Eve is a prime example of this. The seduction of Babylon. Babylon's power is not in violence, but in comfort. She says, oh my God, just really listen to me, and I'll repeat this because this was really big. She says, you deserve this. Follow your heart. Live, love, laugh. Indulge. Nothing is sin unless you think it is. Live your truth. I'm gonna reread that. Babylon's power is not in violence, but in comfort. But Babylon says, you deserve this. Follow your heart. Live, love, laugh. Indulge. Nothing is sin unless you think it is. Live your truth. She doesn't look like evil. She looks like freedom, opportunity, advancement, luxury, success. Babylon is the culture of self exaltation. Wait, exaltation. Whatever. You guys get what I'm trying to say. Most believers won't deny Christ because of persecution. They will deny him because of comfort. Y'all, no one ever said that being a Christian was easy. I just want to make that very clear. So if you are sitting here and you are reading this and you read the Bible and you are expecting this to be an easy walk and to not be persecuted, I want to tell you right now, then it's not for you. These mega churches are steering you wrong. These super hyper grace churches are steering you wrong. Here's why. Sodom and Gomorrah. Egypt. There is more and more examples of, Job, Jonah and the whale, which that whole thing I want to dive into in my next Bible study, the whole whale thing, because I think it was a megalodon, but that's my tinfoil hat. Anyway, all these times, it was never easy. Never. So this hyper grace message is completely wrong. And it is only steering you wrong, not to help you in the end. And that's not easy for me to say. It's uncomfortable to say that. But if you believe in hyper grace, you will not see the end like you hope. You will be in Babylon because most believers won't deny Christ because of persecution. They will deny him because of comfort. You're comfortable. Don't be comfortable. Never get comfortable. God's command for the last days, come out of her, my people. Revelation 18:4. He's yearning for us. He wants us to come out of it. Get out of there. Come out of her, my people. Not physically, spiritually. To come out means to detach from Babylon's morals, refuse her economic dependency, reject compromise for convenience, and stand apart even if it costs or your comfort. Now, refuse her economic dependency. So I have told my mom this for years about living in sin and how you're born into sin. And living in sin, I know sexual with marriage and stuff, but I mean it in you're born into sin. You know that saying, it's been around for years. We are born into it. This is a prime example. We are born into a Babylon system, and we have to do everything we can to focus on what's important, to not be comfortable in society, stand apart, even if it costs status or comfort. The remnant, which is us, must be in the world, but not of it. The remnant, us, must be in the world, not of it. The fall of Babylon. Babylon rises slow but collapses in 1 hour. Powerful, wealthy, influential, admired, then suddenly destroyed. No empire built on pride survives judgment. No throne of man prevails against the king. The world mourns when she falls, heaven rejoices. Earth grieves the loss of wealth, heaven celebrates the removal of corruption. This is the ultimate divide. Who you mourn reveals who you belong to. So, week 6, Babylon isn't coming, she's already rolling. We aren't waiting for her to rise. We are choosing now whether we belong to her or not. And I think everyone needs to sit and really think about the comforts in their life and decide if it's worth it. The greatest question of end times is not will you survive tribulation, but rather will you separate from Babylon even if it costs you everything? Everything. So, just some questions to think about, maybe some homework to work on. Where do you see Babylon most active today? Religion, economy, or government? What forms of compromise does Babylon use to seduce believers? What does it look like to come out of her practically in the modern culture? Why is Babylon admired by the world but hated by God? Are we preparing to endure loss or addicted to comfort? And to be honest, that's why Babylon wants the older generations out of here. That's why the elites want the older generations out of here. Because this right here, because older generations know the truth. They know that they don't need all this bullshit. Ooh. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. This bull crap. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. This bull crap. I'm glad I checked the box no for kids on YouTube. Woo. But no, they know that they are tired of the crap and that they're not up with all these things. So the older generations, Babylon wants to go because it's easier to seduce a generation born into it. So I appreciate you all listening tonight. Really, really important to me to dive into this and go through the book of Revelation. I'm really, really, really excited about the future because we know the end. I appreciate all you again. Thank you for watching. We're kind of doing a reset with the church. We are not in the school anymore. We'll be having services elsewhere. We'll mainly be online, live for a while. So if you'd like to donate, you can go to www.thetorchchurch.com, and really that money just goes to keeping our streaming services and able to have our website, all those things. So please keep us in mind. Again, it doesn't have to be a big gift. It can be a small gift, But we thank you all so much, our partners, our friends, our family, for joining us. And I love our Ignite Bible studies. I look forward to it next week. And yeah, this Thursday, Pastor Lonnie will be preaching, 7:35 p.m. Eastern. I know for those of you that live across the country, that's a little bit tough for you. So we completely understand. You can always watch us later. Everything's recorded on YouTube or Facebook. You can go back and watch them. So please don't forget our Cash App is the money sign Lonna, Lonna, with a capital L, and then Bauer, Bauer, with a capital B. Thank you all so much, and I appreciate all of you. If you ever have, and I know I keep doing this, but if you ever have anything that you want to be brought up in Bible study, any topics or any Bible scriptures, I would love it. So please just message us on Facebook, and I'd love to do that. Thank you all so much. Bye-bye.